On a cold January morning in 49 BC, a 50-year-old general stood on the banks of a tiny, muddy river in northern Italy. To look at it, the river was nothing special. You could wade across it without getting your knees wet. But this river, the Rubicon, was a psychological line in the sand. By Roman law, no general could bring his army past this point. To cross it was treason. To cross it meant declaring war on your own country. The man standing there knew that if he stepped forward, millions would die. If he turned back, he would be destroyed. He paused, looked at his men, and famously muttered, "Alea iacta est," the die is cast. This is the story of how one man, kidnapped by pirates, bankrupt by politics, and betrayed by his friends, rose to become the most powerful human being on earth, and why his own government had to murder him to stop it. Gaius Julius Caesar was born in 100 BC, not into power, but into danger. Rome was already tearing itself apart. His family claimed to be descended from the goddess Venus, but in reality, they were broke aristocrats living in a bad neighborhood. Caesar learned early that confidence was his only currency. The most famous example happened when he was just 25. While sailing across the Aegean Sea, he was captured by Cilician pirates. The pirates demanded a ransom of 20 talents of silver, which is about $600,000 today. Caesar was insulted. He told them, 20? Do you know who I am? Ask for 50. For 38 days, he lived with the pirates. He played dice with them, wrote poetry, and jokingly told them that once he was free, he would come back and crucify them all. The pirates laughed. They thought he was a funny rich kid. But Caesar wasn't joking. The moment the ransom was paid, he raised a fleet, hunted them down, and executed every single one of them. Rome learned a valuable lesson that day. Julius Caesar does not make empty threats. But military might wasn't enough. He needed money. Caesar climbed the political ladder by borrowing astronomical amounts of gold to throw the biggest parties and gladiator games Rome had ever seen. By the time he was 40, he was the most popular man in Rome and the most indebted man in history. To save his career, Caesar made a deal with the devil. He formed a secret alliance with two other men, Pompey the Great, Rome's greatest general, and Crassus, Rome's richest man. Together, they were the three-headed monster. They rigged elections, bribed senators, and essentially hijacked the Republic. But Caesar needed a war to pay off his debts. He looked north to Gaul, which is modern-day France. For 8 years, Caesar waged a brutal, illegal war. He didn't just fight, he engineered. The climax came at the Battle of Alesia. Caesar had the Gallic king Vercingetorix trapped in a hilltop fortress. But a massive relief army of Gauls was coming to kill Caesar from behind. So Caesar did the impossible. He built a wall to keep the king in, and a second wall behind him to keep the relief army out. He was a donut of death. He fought in 2 directions at once and won. He conquered 300 tribes, sold 1 million people into slavery, and killed 1 million more. Back in Rome, the alliance had collapsed. Crassus was dead. Pompey had switched sides to the Senate. They ordered Caesar to disband his army and come home to stand trial for war crimes. Caesar had a choice, jail or civil war. He chose war. He crossed the Rubicon. He moved so fast that Pompey and the Senate didn't even have time to pack. They fled Rome, leaving the city to Caesar. The war spanned the entire known world. It ended in Egypt, where Pompey was assassinated by the locals before Caesar could even catch him. But Egypt offered Caesar something else. Enter Cleopatra. She was 21, brilliant, and fighting a civil war against her brother. She needed Rome's power. Caesar needed Egypt's money. They became lovers and allies. When Caesar finally returned to Rome, he wasn't just a general anymore. He was undefeated. He celebrated 4 triumphs at once. He brought back giraffes, pearls, and a new calendar that fixed the broken Roman timeline. It's the same 365-day calendar we use today. But power is a dangerous drug. Caesar had himself named Dictator Perpetuo, meaning dictator for life. He started wearing purple boots, the color of kings. He sat on a golden chair in the Senate. To a Roman senator, the word king was a curse. They had spent 500 years ensuring no single man could rule Rome. Now Caesar was acting like a god. A conspiracy formed, led by Cassius and Marcus Brutus, a man Caesar thought of as a son. The date was set the Ides of March. March 15th, 44 BC, Caesar was warned. A soothsayer told him to beware the Ides of March. His wife begged him not to go to the Senate that day, but Caesar was arrogant. He dismissed his bodyguards, saying, "It is better to die once than to live always in fear of death." As he sat in his chair, the senators surrounded him, pretending to offer a petition. Then the first blade struck his neck. Caesar tried to fight back, but there were too many of them. He was stabbed 23 times. Legend says when he saw Brutus with a knife, he stopped fighting. He pulled his toga over his face and collapsed at the foot of a statue. Ironically, it was a statue of his old enemy, Pompey. The senators thought they had saved the Republic. They were wrong. The people of Rome were furious. They burned the senators' houses and worshipped Caesar as a god. The assassination didn't restore democracy. It destroyed it forever. Out of the ashes rose Caesar's nephew, Augustus, who became the first emperor. Julius Caesar was the last man of the Republic and the first myth of the empire. Was he a tyrant or a hero? Let me know in the comments.